Carsten of Dan Taxis from Denmark, it is great to meet you.
Thank you very much.
What has brought you to the Global Taxi Summit here in Knutsford today?
It's because we have a good relationship with the iCabbi team. We're not a customer, but we share some of the views on the future, I think, on how mobility will develop going forward. So interesting to keep in touch and speak with a lot of new people from around the world.
So what value are you getting from talking to fleets from all over the world?
The differences from each market. It's pretty interesting. You know, the last 10 years has been the big issue has been how private hire vehicles are disturbing the existing taxi business and so on. And I think finally it's getting up to all's mind that it is the same product, more or less, and we need to adapt to the future. So I think that's the main thing that I get out of this.
Because certainly fleets from different countries can learn a lot from one another, even if it's similar challenges, different markets. For customers who aren't here today, who aren't getting to meet you in person, can you tell us a little bit about the Danish market?
Yeah, so the Danish market is recently totally deregulated. So we have very few regulation left on the Danish taxi market. One thing we do have left is there's a pretty hard regulation around the meters, and that's because the authorities in Denmark, the politicians, demand that we take the responsibility for tax payments. So that's just taking social responsibility, and in Denmark in general, topics on the ESG agenda is so important, and that's what people want. And especially all the young people, they want companies that are doing a responsible job.
Green, yeah, and I want to talk to you a little bit about that in a moment. Just for a bit of context, how many taxis are there in Denmark?
In general, there's around 6,000, I think. It's going up and down, after the Corona period, but around.
And and Dan Taxis?
We have right now 1,800 taxis, and we have a minibus company as well. Operating for public tenders and so on, and we have 450 minibuses as well.
It's a lot of minibuses.
It's a lot of minibuses.
Yeah. So 1,800 cars. What was that pre-pandemic? Are you nearly back up to where you were? Or?
Actually, yeah. Pre-pandemic, we nearly hit the 2,000 mark. Then we obviously saw some didn't survive throughout the Corona, and now we are down to 1,800 again, but picking up rapidly.
It's not bad. And are you similar to other fleets that you've been meeting last night and today? Driver shortages, is that a big problem for you guys?
What we are seeing is actually as a result of the deregulation, there's not so many taxi owners with more cars, and so they're reducing their number of taxis in the fleets. And that means that drivers are without any employment, so they choose to be a taxi owner themselves, and we're picking them up right now.
Okay, so it's not so much of a problem. Talking about ESG, you've got 1,800 cars. How many of those are electric?
We are just hitting the 350 mark, right?
Nearly 20%?
Yeah, and our ambition is that in 25 we are 100% emission free on the taxi business, taxi fleet.
Okay, so what kind of factors are affecting that? What are the incentives that you guys are getting from your government? Is it coming from demand in society? Like what's playing into that? Because that's a big number compared to some of our other fleets around the world, and it's very promising to see that that's going up 20% is really high. It's great.
Yeah, actually, in the beginning, the demand in the market wasn't that high. But we got acquired by a private equity company late 2018, and the corporate company that owned our business was called Green Fleet, and so that was kind of a signal that they wanted to take the lead of changing the taxi business into a more environment-friendly business, and then without knowing if we could have a owner buy an electrical vehicle. we bought 10 Teslas from the one day to another, and luckily some progressive owners were willing to invest in the future technology. So we kind of took the lead there, and from that time it's just go one way. And then we have had a shortage throughout Corona of getting the electrical vehicles, and we would have had more than
you would
almost
have more than 20%.
Yeah.
But the shortages is across all the car manufacturers. It's just
a
bit of a delay.
Yeah,
it really
but it's picking up now.
What about the Danish government then? What do they have in place to incentivize electric?
Nothing. We did it ourselves. Yeah, you can say no, but that's all. Has nothing really to incentivize. What we did internally was to incentivize our taxi owners that they would get a faster trip if it was electrical. So that kind of way it's incentivized the owners to change the fleet.
Yeah. Okay. And that's clearly worked.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's great.
Yeah.
What kind of topics have you been talking about with your fellow peers here at the Taxi Summit today?
I think we have just mentioned a bit of it, but it is a lot about shortage. It is about the future mobility. It's about autonomous cars. When will they come? And I think the important thing about it is just that time will come. And I don't think the taxi business will win that fight, because I believe that the big tech companies or the car manufacturers would have a great interest in owning the entire network of autonomous cars when that arrives. So our job is to keep investing in new mobility services, keeping the customers close to us, and at some time there will come somebody and hopefully think that we have been doing a good job and we have kept our customers close to us, and then let's see who will win on the long term.
So in the next 5 years, we're at a summit here, so we have to talk kind of visions. Where will the taxi industry be in 5 years' time? What's the biggest opportunity out there for taxi fleets like yourself?
But I think it's a little bit oldish to keep using the brand taxi, to be honest, because mobility will integrate more and more. And our job is to provide the mobility service that our customers want, and that will happen a lot in the next coming years. You will see drones, you will see different car types and vehicles developing to especially that demand that you want. So I think we should see it more as that a person or more persons want to go from A to B, and then provide the right kind of vehicle to that demand. So whether it's a taxi or it's a private hire vehicle or it's or electric bike or whatever, you just need to have the right product for your customer.
So you at the moment, your fleet is predominantly a taxi fleet, so traditional picking up off the street. And do you see yourself moving more as a stepping stone towards some of the different models within private hire en route to more of a mobility player? Are you kind of on that journey?
We are there now, to be honest. We do have street customers, we do have our app, we do have everything. So I think it's more about getting into even newer businesses, and that's why we acquired this minibus company, because we have a lot of mutual businesses throughout our taxi platform and our bus platform. So I think that's the mindset I have, is that buying into new services that our customers want, or that could help us get higher synergies.
You're already on the journey to moving from a taxi company to a mobility company.
I believe so. That's our mindset back in our Copenhagen office.
Okay, so I didn't need to talk about a 5-year term at all. I think next year, let's catch up again and see have you transformed into that mobility company. It might be much, much quicker than 5 years' time.
That'll be fun.
Cool. Okay, let's catch up again soon. Thanks a million.
Thank you.
Great.